Pleased to have Eddie Worth with Safe Surfin Foundation. They're doing some phenomenal work. I have a lot of different people on our show that talk about law enforcement issues. I think it's really cool to have somebody that is working hand in hand with law enforcement, and instead of responding to a tragedy, you're trying to prevent it. I really appreciate you coming on and talking about what Safe Surfin's doing. And just like, I just want to open up by telling you, like, I really appreciate you being here. And like you to talk a little bit about where you grew up and how you ended up in Safe Surfin.
Sure, glad to. And thanks for having me too.
Absolutely.
Safe Surfin has been around since 1998.
Okay.
So we're still trying to get word out on how to properly educate our children and parents on internet safety. But kind of going back to my history, I went to Natural Bridge High School, graduated from Natural Bridge High School.
The Rockets, right?
Oh, Natural Bridge Rockets, yeah. Exactly. Yeah. But that was back in 68 when I graduated, so I'm kind of telling why I'm gray-haired now, right?
Well.
So after that, went to Phillips Business College over in Lynchburg. I don't think they're still there, but went there, and while I was there, I had the opportunity to go to work with the FBI.
Okay.
Up in D.C. So stayed with the FBI for a while, realized that really I wasn't the city guy, and that's where I was going to have to work. I was working right out of downtown D.C. on 2nd and D Street, and, I grew up in Glasgow. And Natural Bridge,
a
little culture difference there.
I would say a huge culture difference.
Like we went from 0 stoplights to Washington, D.C. So that didn't last long.
However, this isn't for me.
Yeah, I got quite an education, though, not only on law enforcement and the identification side of what the FBI does, but just general learning, knowledge, culture, different cultures than what I'd grown up in, but decided that, I need to get back home, and was able to then, I was hired by Ecolab, which is a Fortune 500 company, and I spent my career there in sales.
Okay.
And from there, I met with Sheriff Brown at a conference. The Moose Association is a huge supporter of Sheriff Brown and the foundation. And I was at a conference, and Sheriff Brown had a lady and her daughter, and her daughter had been abducted by an online predator. And they told their story, and it just hit me that, man, I need to do something here to help this cause. So I started volunteering.
Okay.
And this was back early 2000s, I guess. And I volunteered traveling across the country when I could get off work and this kind of thing, right. Going out and talking to kids and parents about internet safety. Sheriff Brown was able to get me in front of the folks at ICAC here in Bedford County,
yes,
Internet Crimes Against Children, and they helped me learn what all was going on and how to talk to the kids. Became associated with the National Center for Missing Exploited Children and picked up on their programs, and then just went out and started speaking as a volunteer. This went on for, I guess, 15 years or so.
Right.
And realized after going out and talking to these kids that they weren't really listening to a older person come in and talk to them about the internet, because they knew more than we did, right?
Right.
So that's kind of how I got started in the whole thing. And
so they grew up, these kids grew up in it. They know how to navigate things
100%.
Like, yeah.
100%. Back in 1998, that ICAC got started in 1996, and Sheriff Brown, Bedford County Sheriff's Office, was one of the first 10 ICAC task forces.
I think they're still the only ICAC task force that operated by a local jurisdiction.
They may be. There are 2 ICAC task forces in Virginia. The state police has one in Northern Virginia, and Bedford County has one here. And there's 60, I believe there's 62 of them now across the country.
That's really cool.
But here's the problem. These guys, they're sitting behind the computers, guys and girls. God bless them. They sit behind computers and talk to these predators to see if they're going to cross the line. And that is so hard on these folks because they see and hear all these stories, and it's terrible what's going on out there.
So you talked about the story that you heard, that the child that had been abducted.
Yeah.
And we talk a lot about what law enforcement goes through. Just talk a little bit just on your knowledge of like what these investigators have to go through. It sounds really clean, like, hey, we have this chat and now I'll lock them up, but it's not that simple.
It's not that simple at all. Really, the mental part that these investigators go through, a lot of the times, and more likely than not, more times than not, they can only do this job for a short period of time because it wears on them emotionally so much. Because keep in mind, these investigators, they have children at home, right? Or they may have grandchildren, nieces and nephews, and they can see all these things happening to their families. And they're actually talking to these predators that are telling them some of the worst things in the world you can imagine that they're
and
doing
sending
to
some
kids.
of the vilest images that you can imagine.
Yeah.
I think Sheriff Brown had discussed an adult having sex with a baby, infant.
Yeah.
An infant.
Yes.
And
that's not unusual.
That's not unusual at all. I think what's kind of interesting is one of the things that we discussed we did an intel project with Liberty University, and the students that participated in that, they actually got on the dark web and were able to find where you could actually order a child, and it's a year and up. And I don't think people realize like what the impact of that is, not only for the victim, but also from a law enforcement standpoint. These kids never recover. We work, I'm still in law enforcement, and we work these sexual assaults, and it's just it really is a reoccurring issue. Like if you abuse a child, that child is probably going to end up an abuser, and it just continues on and on and on, which I think is what is really cool about what y'all are trying to do. Is you're not trying to interrupt the cycle. You're trying to stop it before it ever occurs.
We are. We're being proactive, trying to get in front of it.
Okay.
I'll kind of go back to what I'd said a few minutes ago. When I started off traveling around the country, talking to school assemblies, church groups, had Eric Estrada going with me. I don't know if your listeners can remember Eric or not, but
Chips.
Yeah, from Chips.
I grew up on that.
Yeah, so did I. But Eric and I traveled for 2 years, talking to school groups and churches. Safe Surfin had funded a movie that was called Finding Faith that Eric starred in. And we would go to churches all over the country, from Mississippi to California, showing this movie at no charge, not charging a thing, trying to get ahead of these predators. And the movie was about kidnapping and human trafficking and this kind of thing. Right. And it's still out there, and you can go online and find out.
And what's the name of that? Finding Faith.
Finding Faith. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Faith was the name of the girl that got abducted, and it's faith-based as well.
Right.
Okay.
So, like from your standpoint, talk about some of the partners that you have, because I think that's what's unique about it is obviously ICAC is a government reaction to a situation. I think it's really cool that a private entity is out there trying to prevent even government intervention at this point. If you don't have a victim, you don't have to investigate it. Right. So talk about some of the partners that y'all have with Safe Surfin.
Well, we work with, like I said a few minutes ago, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Okay. They're a nonprofit as well. Okay. They've got wonderful educational programs available. As well as we do.
So talk about some of these educational programs, because I know we have parents and things like that. And I think I think it's so easy as a parent to say like, well, if I just monitor a little bit, but I don't think that we can't monitor it that well.
No.
So how does that work? How does it work with what you do as far as educating educate the parents, but also the children?
Well, let me kind of go into a story on how our Team Cyber SWAT came about, and then move on into AI, if we could do that.
Yeah. So talk about Team Cyber SWAT.
Okay. So we, 8-9 years ago now, realized after I came back in from a trip, Sheriff Brown was still the sheriff here, and I met him over in his office. And now Safe Surfin is a 501c3 nonprofit.
Okay.
Didn't have a lot of money. What money we did have came from private donors, and we volunteered a lot of our stuff. So for me to travel took some money, right? Especially if I'm going like to California and across the country. So I'd made several trips out and came back into the sheriff's office and was kind of debriefing my trip with him and Robin Sundquist, who was the co-founder with Sheriff Brown of Safe Surfin, and one of the other ladies in the office. And I was saying, look, I feel like we're spending a lot of money on my travel, even though I'm staying in the back of the airplane,
Right.
And
We're not talking about 5-star.
no, we're not. We're talking days in, Super 8, whatever. If it was clean, I was there,
Yes,
right?
sir.
And then we'd go out and talk to these kids. And I came in one day, like I said earlier, we'd take a strata. We'd taken Shaquille O'Neal. He was a supporter of us. And I came in and said, look, I don't know what to do. I don't feel like these kids are picking up what we're putting down out there, and we're not spending the money the best way we can. I just don't think they're listening to us.
Right.
And one of the ladies in the office, Janet, said, well, I've got 2 girls, and they don't listen to me either, but they listen to each other. Well, a light bulb kind of went off. Well, maybe we need to do a peer-to-peer program.
Okay.
So we teamed up with the National White Collar Crime Center out of Morgantown, West Virginia, and developed a program that we named Team Cyber SWAT.
Okay.
And the SWAT stands for Safety While Accessing Technology.
Okay.
And what we did was put together programs that the older kids in high school could pull from the program we had, whether it be sextortion, cyberbullying, human trafficking, social media, whatever's going on in their school. We would give them links to go out to where they could actually build their own presentation for them to give to the younger students. And we was very successful in getting that out to schools.
So that's a huge resource that you already have everything in there, and
all the kids had to do was go pull it, put their words to the presentation, and
make it relevant for them.
It did.
Okay.
And they listened. They started listening to kids. Well, that was great until COVID hit.
Yeah.
And once COVID hit, the kids went home from school. The bad guys went home from work. So we had the perfect storm. Now the predators are talking to the kids more and more, right?
So can I stop you
Sure.
before, because we're transitioning into the AI, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit more, because what you just explained is a very, very simple program, but like how effective is it?
Well, as
Just
COVID,
yeah. So I'm just saying from a cyber SWAT, like, because COVID is over, now we have kids that you can use it again, because you told me earlier about Rockbridge County doing it.
Yep.
And so talk about what you've experienced from the cyber SWAT. Like y'all have invested a tremendous amount of time and effort into this program and money.
Yeah.
And nobody's using it, but like it is like this untapped, amazing resource.
Well, Sheriff Brown's wife, Janet, is a professor, she's retired now, a professor at Liberty University. And Liberty has been a huge supporter of ours. And they granted Janet or gave her the opportunity to go out and interview kids at the schools that we had put it in on a pilot program.
Okay.
And we did 10 schools.
So y'all actually did a evaluation.
We did, yeah.
And we're not talking about some random person. This is a doctor.
No, we're talking about exactly,
Brown.
doctor psychology, right?
Yes.
So she got to 4 of the schools.
Okay.
I mean, we even were out in Wyoming, West Virginia, New York, Virginia, North Carolina, Tennessee. We had them spread out. So she got to 4 schools interviewing the kids there.
Right.
On
evaluate cyber SWAT.
Yeah, after that it had been in place for a while, 3 months or whatever that was. And every kid, I mean, it was like each one of them had a script that they shared, and they didn't because they were all over the country. Every kid said, hey, we see where this works. We can tell in our school where the bullying has slowed down, that we can really measure this by what we see. And so it's working, right?
Right.
So we're all excited and we're ready to rock and roll this thing out across the country. And that's when then COVID hit.
But you still have that technology.
We do. Oh yeah, we do.
So Virginia, you just said Rockbridge is doing it. How many other jurisdictions are doing it in Virginia?
Yeah, them. Yeah.
So why, my question to you is, and maybe you can't answer it because to me, it doesn't make sense. I'm saying as a full-time investigator, a ton of my cases are involving we're talking about children sending nude photos to one another, things like that, which to me is probably what you're already covering, correct?
Right.
And you're talking about the ramifications long-term, all these different things. And we're not talking about hey, I want to come in there and preach to you about this. We're saying we are empowering their community to do it themselves. So the school, the student in that school can get this program, make it their own, and deliver it to the other people in the school
at no charge.
And that's
so
why.
A big issue.
So can you tell me one good reason why you don't have parents kicking down doors saying Governor Youngkin became governor because people did not listen,
Sure.
in Northern Virginia.
Right.
They're like, hey, we want control over our kids. We want to figure out what's best for our kids. Why are we not doing this for the cybersecurity for these kids?
There are many different programs out there for them to pick from. And there's only so much time allocated to these kids. So what I have found is that the teachers absolutely do not have time for it. So what we developed was a program for the SROs to do it, working with the sheriff's departments or the police chiefs or whatever,
right?
And do it in a club atmosphere, if you will. Sit 4-H, stuff like that. You have Team Cyber SWAT. We've been on TV. We've advertised it throughout Virginia. These 3 local channels, NBC, ABC, CBS, they've all picked it up. We've put it out, and nothing happens. And we'll go into the schools and try to get it into schools, and the principals or the superintendents, and generally we'll try to go to the superintendents because it's going to end up on their desk anyway, what goes into the schools. They'll say, well, we don't want to deal with that. We don't have time with it. It's unbelievable.
Do you think, based on your experience, is it one of those things where it's like, hey, if we have Safe Surfin Cyber SWAT here, that means we have a problem. So let's pretend like we don't have a problem. We're not going to interrupt their educational experience. To me, as an investigator that has to investigate those kind of crimes, it is unreal to me that we are not being proactive. Because I feel like what I'm hearing you say is the school system is like, I'm not really sure. What about sheriffs picking this up?
Let me tell you a true story. What happened? So a principal asked me to come in that I knew. Okay. So he goes, and he knew what I was doing. He said, can you come in and do a presentation? And I'm going, well, sure. What's going on? He said, well, we got a pretty big problem with sexting. Mm-hmm. Where kids are taking pictures of themselves, they're passing it around, this kind of thing, and also bullying. So can you do about an hour to our student body. And I'm going, sure, not a problem at all. So I was going into the school that particular day, and the superintendent, who also knew of schools in this county, came walking by. Hey, Eddie, what are you doing up here? I said, well, I'm getting ready to do a presentation on bullying and cyber problems. He goes, we don't have that problem.
Exactly.
I'm going, we do have that problem.
100%.
But he
100%.
He didn't
I don't think there's a parent
that.
out there that thinks that this is not a problem.
Problem is the parents don't know how to educate the kids, and I get that because
you've just given them a pathway.
I have. Yeah, we have.
And these parents, it's not getting to the parents though.
It's not. And we've spent money on advertising, on TV, on radio, on the internet. We got Facebook. We've got all the.
You've got a phenomenal website. You got a phenomenal product.
We do.
I don't want to compare it as a cure to cancer, but it is definitely important enough.
It's proactive.
Yeah, it's important enough for us to interrupt a child victim. Because what you just described as far as when kids send a picture out, what people don't realize that are not like you, that have experienced this firsthand, they send that picture out. Everybody that receives that picture is in possession of child pornography.
They are.
And so that's a felony each time.
Yep.
Maybe that's the thing.
Yep.
Maybe it is like, hey, parents, you can either choose to do this program, which is going to keep your child from being involved in a felony, or we can go ahead and go through the law enforcement. Because I feel like it is almost unfathomable that we have a resource to prevent what I see on a daily basis as far as these kids that are sending nude photos, that are doing things that, like, if they just were, they're kids. They really are. It's no different than us when we were growing up. We finally realized it's probably a good idea for you to wear a helmet when you ride a four-wheeler, when you ride a bike. It's just a prevention.
Right.
So why can we not do that for our kids now?
We can. We are moving into AI to educate the kids as well. But a couple, I guess, things that we need to really get out to everybody is how we need to have laws passed that will put internet safety education in the forefront out in our schools, to actually require these schools to give this education.
100%.
Now, let me give you
100%.
West Virginia.
Okay.
I worked, Sheriff Brown and I worked with Senator Deeds. And there's a Senator Deeds in Virginia and one in West Virginia. We were working.
Are they brothers?
No.
No, not related. Okay.
And we talked to him about the problems that we're having. And the reason Senator Deeds was involved is Sheriff Brown's wife's from West Virginia, and there's some connection in Greenbrier County, this kind of thing.
Yes, sir.
So we went up and talked to him and really explained to him the issues out here, and that we really need laws passed making internet safety mandatory, education mandatory. And he said, okay. And within 1 year, Senator Deeds got a bill passed, Senate Bill 466, in West Virginia, making internet safety education mandatory in all public schools, grades 3 through 12.
Every school in West Virginia.
Every public school in West Virginia. Now, they wanted us to help them write up a curriculum on how to do that. We sat down with the Department of Education, and we helped them write. So
the West Virginia Department of Education.
Yes.
Okay.
So they've been working great. We're rolling out our program. We can talk about it in a few minutes in August. I believe it's 18th.
Okay.
And we're I think we're a month away, right?
Yes, sir.
To rolling this program out to every kid, incorporating the Cyber SWAT program and a AI program as well up there. Now, we've met with Representative Walker from Lynchburg here, and Senator Stanley.
Okay.
So it's Smith Mountain Lake Road.
Yes, sir.
That area. And tried to put together a bill that the House and Senate could pass that would have some meat to it, that would actually mandate the program.
Right.
They haven't put the program together that has the meat in it.
How long have you been trying in Virginia to do it?
Sheriff Brown's probably, I've been trying with Sheriff Brown for about 4 or 5 years. Sheriff Brown's been trying it since 1998. He's had Democrats, Republicans, and they all talk a great game. Yeah, we really want to do this.
But do they?
And they don't.
But do they?
No, they don't.
I mean, we're what?
West Virginia.
We're 30 years into it.
I'll tell you, it kills me. I grew up in Virginia native, live in Virginia, that we had to go to West Virginia to get our kids protected on internet safety first.
I don't feel like anybody would disagree with your premise of kids have more access than they've ever had to computers and to predators. Yeah. You're a gateway to predators, realistically, the internet is. Yep. And you have a program to teach these. We send them to driver's ed,
sure,
to drive a car.
Sure.
And obviously, like, a car is a big, but so are these human beings and these children that become victims. And in some cases, I don't even think they know they're victims. They think that what they're doing is normal. Like, this is normal behavior. This is what happens. And I just cannot believe that you are giving this and nobody wants to take it.
Unbelievable, isn't it? But that's a fact. You know, this is like parents now, and you can go to any restaurant, take a Friday night in Roanoke, Lynchburg, Bedford, wherever, and just look around at the table of families. And there might be a mom and a dad and a brother and a sister. Well, all 4 of them have a phone, and they're all on it, texting, may even be texting each other. Who knows?
Yes, sir.
But I mean, we're talking about kids that are 5, 6 years old having this device untrained. It's like saying, okay, here are the keys to the car. Go figure out how to drive it. And they can't, right?
Well, they know how to navigate. They know how to navigate, but they have no idea how to do it safely.
They don't know how to do it safely. Exactly.
And I think that, like, to me, one of the things that is my biggest frustration with law enforcement is we are reactive. We will react, and we react in mass. I mean, like, we're really good at it. I mean, if you have a critical incident, we know people are coming and they're going to help you.
Yeah.
But that's after it happens. What about now when we have, like, something that you know is a problem? The numbers are there. So I know you said you don't know the numbers, but, like, if parents are interested in numbers like this, what are the resources they have to see how big a problem this is?
Oh, go to the FBI's website.
Okay.
And just look under internet safety there.
Okay.
FBI statistics.
Because Homeland Security's doing something.
Homeland
too.
Security's got it.
All right, let's talk about Homeland Security a little bit.
Okay.
All right, what is Homeland Security doing?
From what I can tell, nothing other than they're not being proactive in educating. So, but here's a problem.
So they have teams that deal with that. But again, they have teams that react.
That's it.
That's it.
Their funding is only allowing them to do that. And I'm going to put it back on the Congress, Senate, House Representatives. They've got to provide the manpower to be able to go out and educate the kids, right? And they don't have the money to do it. So the only money they've got is to take cases and see if being reactive, right?
Right.
So that's a huge problem. Like ICAC right now, if you talk to the commander here in Forest, I'm sure he'll tell you they're backed up like 2 years worth of cases. They don't have time to go after these guys. That's how far behind. And I hear this across the country. So we've got to get education into these schools, education that's meaningful. I mean,
and your education product works.
It does work.
It works.
It's been proven.
And again, like, and forgive my ignorance, but, like, to me, as somebody that deals with it day in and day out, the fact that you have a solution that you can put in place now that will not just start now, but it'll the children today, 20 years from now, are going to still be able to, like, they're not going to be a victim. And if they're not a victim, they're not going to be a predator, if that makes sense.
It does make sense.
And so, like, you're breaking the cycle before it ever starts.
You hit it to nail right on the head. We've got to break that cycle. And education is the way to do it. And with this Team Cyber SWAT program that we're putting in schools, as well as our deputy program on the AI end of it, this is how we're structuring it for it to be an ongoing program from year to year to year to year. So the juniors and seniors in high school with the Team Cyber SWAT, they started off, they talked to kids in the lower grades. Those kids want to become part of their club, right? The Cyber SWAT club. And then when the seniors graduate, now the juniors are seniors and sophomores move up. So it just keeps going. And you got to have your sheriff's departments or your sheriff's offices and your police departments on board. And I haven't met one law enforcement agency yet that isn't on board with doing this. I've not had the first one. They go, yep, we want to do this.
So what would it, you said to have teeth, but my question to you is this, is so like what, if in West Virginia, what is the cost to West Virginia to put your program in statewide?
Well, right now, the Team Cyber SWAT program, there is no charge, period. Okay, we provide them the login to go to a website, Team Cyber SWAT website. We'll provide the login to the SRO, and the SRO, all we're asking them to do is to kind of keep the kids and herd them in the right place. Don't go off subject, this kind of thing. They give them the information for them to build the program, right?
So everything that SRO programs are designed as a mentorship. That's exactly what you're doing.
Exactly. They're a facilitator. That's all we ask them to do. Where I have seen it get sideways is where an SRO wants to run the program. And
that's not the point.
It's not the point at all. It's all about peer-to-peer. Now, in West Virginia, we're rolling out a pilot program with Skill. Okay. We've partnered with out of Dana Point, California. We partnered with them about 2 years ago. Okay. To create an artificial intelligence educational program based on peer-to-peer. Okay. And we finally got that program ready. Spent several $1 million. That
you Safe Surfin spent that money.
No, we've spent a great deal of money, not that amount, but we've spent a couple of $100,000 to.
You basically donated that money to get it rolling
to help build this, and they've put a program they named Deputy, to where a child can actually have an app on their phone that they can actually talk to an influencer. So if they're having an issue, let's say they've been approached online by someone that wants them to send a picture. Right. Well, that kid can go online and to this Deputy app and go, here's what's happening. I'm talking to someone I don't really know them, but they want me to send a picture, and they'll send a picture and this kind of thing. What should I do? And immediately this person, if you will, which is a AI, will give them the proper direction on what to do. Okay. You know, number one, you don't want to do that. Here's some other options. Talk to your parents, talk to law enforcement, trusted adult, whatever. So we've got that, and that's what we're putting in West Virginia. Okay. In addition to the Cyber SWAT program for a 2-year test program. Okay. And that's going to be no charge, starting off with them as a pilot, but it's going to eventually be a $10 per student per year to be able to get on it. And it's going on their Chromebooks in school as well, to where we're putting a game program, if you will, in front of the kids. And they will be asked a series of questions concerning whether it's cyberbullying, human trafficking, sex extortion, whatever it might be. And they've got 3 options to choose, and it'll be 7 different questions. They've got several options to choose, and when they get it wrong, then they have to go back and revisit it until they get it right,
Okay.
the answer right. And then the teacher will be able to get a report from us grading the child on how well they did.
So it's not just a educational without something on the back end to realize that this kid actually learned how to be safe.
Exactly. And that's what we're doing.
It's not just a blank. It's just not a blanket thing like, hey, we're going to throw this program out there and see if it works. You are actually testing it to make sure it works right.
This is going to be measurable.
Okay.
I think it's got to be measurable. And what our I don't want to say our hope, but our expectation is that this program will take off and other states see it and see the value in it and be able to get started. Even if we just start with a program that's no charge, let's get it going.
So like right here, right now, sheriff's departments locally, because I feel like sheriffs are the ones that are like, they have their hand on the pulse in the localities. What can we do, and what can parents in the jurisdictions that listen to this, how do they get their locality interested and get things rolling for them?
Well, they can call us.
Okay.
And go to our website at Safe Surfin, and it's SURFIN, no G on the end.
Okay.
.org.
Okay.
And
so we can link all that, I think.
Oh, good.
Is that right? We can link all that. And so
our phone number, the whole thing would be on your link.
I just think that this is something that I would like to personally get involved in to like get this pushing down the track, because like I have a really small voice, but I can be loud.
Yeah.
And so like from my standpoint as a law enforcement officer, I think it's a disgrace, honestly, that we won't, not as a state and as a community, won't get out there and go, hey, we have a problem. Our kids have access to a lot of bad stuff. And these people are going to teach our kids how to safely navigate a really bad situation.
Exactly.
And like for me, I just would like to know how we can get that out there. Like who can we contact and what can we do to get people, because you have a good product. I've gone to your website. I've looked at all these things, and you're not, when I decided to do a podcast, I one of the things that I did is I found people that actually know what they're doing. I don't have any idea. Like, I don't know all I do is get up here and talk,
right.
But people know what they're supposed to do. These people know how to put this information out there. And so I want to know how we can you've gone with the best of the best.
Yeah.
The stuff that you have online, it's not like somebody made it in their garage. It is cutting edge information. And so like for me is, how do we get that information? First of all, let parents know like, hey, you have an alternative. You can actually push this information out to your kids today. Put this information out to your kids. Keep your kids safe today, not tomorrow. They can go to your website right now and they can learn how to navigate this safely.
Right. We've got several different tabs that I would recommend using off our website to be educated yourself.
Okay.
We've got a book that lists frequently asked questions.
Okay.
It's about 7, 8, 10-page booklet.
Okay.
You know, a lot of our issue now with parents not understanding how to educate is, it's not just the parents that grew up with the computer. A lot of the parents now, you know, they had computers when they were in school, but a lot of the grandparents are having to care for these kids.
Yes, sir.
And they could be in their 60s, 70s, 80s, and they haven't grown up with the computer. They don't know what to do, but they can go online to our website and pull these resources out to help educate them. But we need these parents to go to the school superintendents, to the school principals, to the sheriff's offices, and say, look, we know there's a program out there. It works. It's a great program. And to get it in your school, it's free. And
it doesn't cost
what in the world?
Y'all have already invested. Y'all have taken the brunt of the investment in developing this information and technology.
We have.
You just need people to do it.
Yep, that's it.
Well, we'll definitely link all that stuff because, like, for me, as someone that has to investigate this stuff, it doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. It's like it's missing. Something is missing. You've clearly identified a problem. I think I don't think anybody's going to argue that point that these kids are more exposed than they've ever been.
Here's what's unbelievable. We rarely get phone calls to come in to, hey, can you come to our school? Can you do this? Come in and help educate the kids, unless something happens in the community. Once a child gets abducted or a sextortion problem arises that's hit the news, we hear nothing. Once that happens, our phone starts ringing off the hook. Hey, can you come over and do a program? It's like a one-time presentation is going to fix it, and that is not going to work.
I mean, it's almost like it's almost like saying, like, hey, we're going to educate our kids. We're going to show up on day one and tell them they're starting school, and then at the end of it, we're going to give them their diploma and tell them we enjoyed their time. It doesn't work. You have to invest, and I feel like y'all have made the investment. You've developed technology and information that really works. It's just getting people to buy off on it.
We have.
So talk a little bit about the legislative side of it, because, like, for me, maybe just talk about the process of you talked about Delegate Walker. You've talked about another
Senator Stanley. Yeah,
you've talked about them, but what exactly has transpired with them?
Well, here's what will happen. And this has happened in several states that I've been to. It's not just Virginia.
Okay.
But we'll go in and talk to these folks, and they will agree with everything we're doing. They'll even put it in a bill to present, right? Mm-hmm. Just the way West Virginia actually did it.
So they already have the
we give them the whole format. Here's what's worked. We help them write the bill that we know will work, and they get all excited and go, "Yep, we're gonna present this," and they will in session. And by the time it comes out of committee, it has been butchered.
So what committee? What committee in Virginia?
Education would be one. I'm not sure how many different committees these things go through, but at the end result is there's no meat. There's just no teeth to it.
So let me ask you this, and this is just me thinking out loud. SROs. Ever since Uvalde, there's been a push to put SROs in schools, and from a protection standpoint, as a deterrent. Why is there any reason why we can't get our SROs to start doing this that you can think of?
No, not at all.
All right. So tomorrow, if I have a conversation with the sheriff and I say, hey, the Safe Surfin model, you need to look at this. Mm-hmm. What are the steps for that, sheriff, to get it implemented in this school year?
First thing you would have to do is go to the school and say, look, there's a program that I'd like to see implemented on internet safety. Our people will run it for you. Mm-hmm. All we ask is that you provide time for us to do it. And what I'm finding out is all the schools have a block time that they can have, whether it's 4-H, FFA, mm-hmm. The different clubs. So you could work Team Cyber SWAT right into a block time.
Okay.
And there's your time to do it.
Okay.
And then we would provide the SRO with the entire toolbox. Okay. And explain how to go through and present it to the kids. The one thing that has really worked is when we go into the schools, we try to find the most popular kid, and they're out there. Every school has.
No, you got a spokesperson.
You've got someone out there that everybody kind of looks up to, right?
Right.
Sometimes it might be the quarterback on the football team or the captain or a cheerleader or whoever it may be. But you get that person involved, mm-hmm. explain to them exactly what you want to do.
Right. And
they start talking to their friends and creating this club. You can even set it up with a president and vice president and this kind of thing to make it a real deal. And what I've recommended that's worked is that they go out and talk to Wendy's, Hardee's, McDonald's, some of the fast food restaurant chains, and say, hey, this is what we're doing. Would you be able to provide us with, say, 20 breakfast biscuits to start up our club? And we're going to announce that, hey, we're going to start this club. It's on cyber education. Like for you to join. Oh, by the way, we're having free McDonald's biscuits or whatever, whatever it may be. Well, once they hear there's food, kind of like cops, right?
Yeah, we like to eat.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Once they hear it's food involved, they come.
I like donuts.
Yeah, the donuts.
I'm not going to lie.
So once they hear it's food, at least they'll come in and start listening to the program. And we've got a school in North Carolina, in Iredell County right now, down near Lake Norman. They have over 100 kids in the Cyber SWAT, Team Cyber SWAT club, and it's been a consistent 100 kids for the last 4 years.
So when they create this club, and this is just clarification in my brain, when they create this club, does what they create then is disseminated throughout the entire school system?
Yeah, that's the idea. Yeah, they will put their spin on whatever. They can pick what's happening at their school. What's going on at Jefferson Forest High School might be something different. It might be cyber bullying at Jefferson Forest. Well, over at
Stanton River,
it could be
something totally different.
Totally different. But we've given these options, lesson plans, if you will, for the kid to go to, or the kids to go to, and pull that information to put their own spin on it, to go out and talk to assemblies. They can even go down into the elementary schools and talk to these kids. Everything is age appropriate.
So let me ask you this, and this might be a stab that might come back and work poorly for me, but let me ask you a question. If I were to get with a school system and a school system says, yes, we want to do this, when could we roll out the entire curriculum? If we started the club in August,
mm-hmm.
when does that program roll out to the rest of the school?
Well, that would depend on the kids.
But I'm saying, like, what is a realistic timetable?
If we would start setting it up like now, right?
Yes.
We get the permission from the superintendent of schools, all the way down to sheriff, the whole deal. We would send them the login to the website, to the toolbox. We've got an onboarding training right on that video, and that they could start it immediately. It would be realistic for the first meeting to be in September, October, something like that.
And so let me ask you, so like my thought process is this, is there a way, if we create this club, that these students are given some type of, and I guess that's up to the individual school system, but if an individual school system says, if you do this project, this is considered a positive and you get school credit for it. Is that possible? I'm just curious. I'm just curious. I'm just trying to think of like the motivations, because one of the things that I learned with the Gen Zers that we have, like these college kids that we're dealing with, they have a miraculous ability to navigate and put things out there. And if you give them the guardrails, they'll roll with it.
Oh yeah.
And so like for me, my thought process is this, is like, go to a school system and say, hey, look, we're going to get this club started. Your entire population in your school is going to get internet safety training, peer-to-peer training by the end of this fiscal school year. We do active shooter training, and that's, I almost said a bad word, but that is reactive. That's reactive. It has already happened. How many victims, that's what I'd like to do, is I'd like to put out how many victims do you have in that community in that time frame. It's not like, hey, let's see if we can take our time and get this started. No, it's happening every day. And so especially after COVID, these kids were left alone in the house.
Right.
The schools gave them a computer to go out there and connect. But who are they connecting to?
It was the perfect storm.
Yes, 100%. And so like with that in mind, like I don't feel like there is a sense of urgency in our school systems to say, we have got to get out there and get this information out there now. And here's an entity that has invested a lot of time and effort and have done it in a really wise way. Let's push this information out there. Like this is a critical type of, and it is critical 100%, because these kids, like every single day that one of these kids sends a picture out there, they're a victim. The kids that they send it to are victims. They might not realize it until they're 20, 25 years old. And they're like, oh my gosh, like that picture's still out there.
Oh, well, when they're applying for jobs, you know, a majority or all your larger companies now are checking their social media accounts for sure. So, you know, if they can put this program together, the kids that are driving it, they can certainly use that on their resume, not only for jobs, but for college as well.
I created this space for kids. 100% of the kids in this particular county have been educated on what needs to happen.
That's right. And tell me that won't look good on your college.
So let me ask you this. Let's say the school says like, no, we're not going to do this, because they have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What if this club met somewhere else, got the curriculum together, and then presented it to the school board January 1st?
Could easily do that. Sure.
And then
I had to go
let them go and say, we don't want our kids. These kids have worked really hard on this project. This information is ready to flow out there. Go ahead and tell them we're not going to allow our students to have access to this information.
That would be beautiful. It certainly would. And we will certainly support them from our office 100%, giving them anything we can to help them.
But that's not unreasonable, right?
No, not at all.
It's not unreasonable if we identify kids in a particular jurisdiction like that are like, hey, I don't want this to happen. Like this happened to me. I don't want it to happen. We need to educate our kids. So it's grade 3 through 12.
Mm-hmm. And we can even go to kindergarten with by using the NetSmarts program that we incorporate into Team Cyber SWAT. They have a program from K through 6 using animated characters, if you will, to help educate the kids. You know, clicky and mousy and different little animated characters. That's even going down to
But that's already done. That's already available, correct?
That is available. Everything we've got is available and ready to roll.
But I'm saying on the SWAT, the Team SWAT requires an investment of kids' time to deliver it to the grades below them. That other one, the K through 6, is something that is available right now. You can roll out the program and these kids have access to it right away.
Everything is available right now. And the older kids can go down into the kindergarten through all the way up to through 12th grade, right?
And all this is like been vetted with psychologists and everything 100%. Else as being age appropriate and everything
100%,
else.
Yep. Sure has.
I don't like I said, I don't understand it.
I'd love for this program to go out nationwide, your program to go out nationwide and maybe, get some folks thinking we've got to do something.
I think all we need is some parents in some of these jurisdictions that have been impacted by this to step up to the plate and say, my kid has suffered from this, but this is important enough for me that there's younger siblings and other people are going to be in the same situation this kid was.
Absolutely.
So, it's baffling to me that, I understand like divisiveness and everything else, but like, I don't understand, like when you clearly have a problem, why it doesn't make sense to me.
The parents are not realizing how big of a problem this is until something happens to them or their loved one, or something hits the news, because this will never happen in my town. That's the thinking.
But it's already. But the crazy thing about it is, law enforcement will tell you it already is happening.
It already is happening.
This is not.
You talk about the felonies. My goodness. Number one, if you're going to take a nude photo of yourself, when you do that, you've just produced child pornography, felony number 1. Then when you send it to somebody, now you distributed it. That's felony number 2. When they send it to someone else, that person gets hooked with a felony, right?
For
distribution, possession, and distribution. So, these kids have to realize, and the only way they're going to realize is if somebody tells them, right, that
But nobody's telling them. Nobody's telling them until after they make the mistake.
I've been in schools, honestly, in high school assemblies, where I would ask the kids, how many of you know what a felony is? Raise your hand. And I would get maybe 10, 20%, right? And particularly in the rural schools, I would say, well, how many of you all like to hunt? And, oh, my goodness, the girls and the boys both, the hands go up. And I said, well, do you realize if you're convicted of a felony that your right to firearms are going to be taken away? Oh, no. And do you realize that sending a nude photo is a felony and can be more than one felony? And that gets their attention that, okay, now, man, I don't want you taking my guns away, right?
Right.
Do you know you're not going to be able to vote? So it's all about awareness. It's all about awareness, and we've got that tool for the kids in the schools.
Well, for me, I appreciate you coming in and giving us your time because, like, for me, I just feel like you have a solution, and it doesn't look like anybody. Well, I think people are seeing it, but the sense of urgency isn't there.
Well, West Virginia is certainly seeing it, and boy, I would rather be sitting here saying, man, Virginia is leading the nation in this, but unfortunately West Virginia is taking the lead on it, and Pennsylvania they're putting it in as well. They really wanted to be the first, but we'd already promised West Virginia. So, I mean, we're getting this message out. It's just a slow process. We've been trying to get it out for years.
Yeah, I mean, like 30 years.
Unbelievable. Well, thank you for having me.
No,
here.
absolutely.
I hope it's been helpful.
No, it definitely has. I feel like as a parent and as somebody that's in law enforcement, to think that this resource has been there and we haven't been able to use it is baffling. And the bottom line, and I'd say this to anybody that listens to this program, is like, if you think your kid is not accessing some bad stuff, you're living in a different realm of reality because your kids are accessing stuff they should never see.
And if you're taking the phone away from the kid at home, or not letting them be on a computer at home, they're going to go to their friend's house, right? Mm-hmm. So they're going to have access to it. I will close, I guess, with this. One of the FBI statistics is that if your kid is online gaming, it's a 100% chance they're going to be approached by an online predator. So the key to that is they need to know when they're being approached and then what to do about it.
Yeah, what it looks like.
Exactly.
So it's familiar to them.
Exactly, and then what to do about it. And we got to get out to these kids.
All right. Well, I appreciate your time, bro.